Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rob. Today we're going to be talking about SSH key management. So how to generate them, how to use them, manage them properly. If you're still typing passwords every time you SSH into a server these days, this video is for you. So they're more secure than passwords, right? And faster to use. And once you set them up, you'll wonder why you even use passwords in the first place. So what's the problem with passwords? Sometimes they're easy to guess or brute force. People tend to use them, the same ones on every server, or every use the same one for your bank, use the same one for this, use the same one for that. It's hard to manage across multiple servers if you're trying to admin them, or keep track of them. If you do use different passwords everywhere. SSH keys are just better. They're based on public key cryptography, way more secure. No password to type every time you're going. Well, you could attach a password to it, but we're not going to do that today. Different keys for different purposes, right? You can create a team key, and then everybody on that team, it has permissions on whatever servers. That's a shared thing. And it's easy to revoke a key. If I'm admitting, 3 servers, I can just go through and revoke whatever public keys are in there. And I said before, as I just said before, they could be protected with a passphrase. Anyway, enough of me. Let's get me out of here. Now I'm just going to go like that. All right. So here we are on my laptop, and we are going to set up some keys here. Let's set up. This is a brand new user I have on here. He doesn't even have. Not even. Well, he does have. Okay, he has no keys set up though. So let's go ahead and generate a key. So we're going to go ssh-keygen. Hopefully the font's big enough. Somebody had given me a really good suggestion from my last video that the font was pretty small. So we're going to use a ed25519 key here. So and we're going to call it Rob at. We're going to call it tutorial at Linux.org, because that's who this user is. All right, generating. Now we're just going to hit enter. We're not going to enter a passphrase. Enter again. Pew! All right, so now if we go into here, we're going to see, boom, we see the private key, which is here. And we see the public key, which is here. Now the public key is what you're going to use and put on other servers. So if we do this, and we look at the public key, it looks like this, right here. Right? And I'm going to delete this anyway. And this server is on my public network, the one we're going to go in. That's what your private key looks like. So the public key is just going to start with SSH ed25519, and the private key is going to have this private key stuff in here, so you're always going to know. All right, so let's go ahead and put our key somewhere. We have a new user set up, test guy at buddy, and he is currently set up with a password. Woo! He doesn't have very much set up in his home yet. Right, not even SSH directory. So now, let's go ahead and send our key up there. So we got SSH copy-id, and we're going to do test guy at buddy. Boop. All right, now, for the last time ever, we're going to type his password Nice. Right? So now let's go in there. SSH test guy at buddy. Boom. And we're in. That was easy, right? Since we're on there, we may as well look around again. Let's go into .ssh directory and see what we did. All right. That's what we did. We added that line to the authorized keys file. All right, now let's try something else. We're going to create a couple other ones for specific purposes. -t id 255.19, and the comment is going to be Rob at work servers, and this time we're going to name the file ourselves. All right, so -f, let you name it. Boop. And our passphrase, we're not doing that. All right, now let's do that again, except this time, oops, client servers, F, do. Now let's go into our .ssh directory and see all the stuff we just made. I created this config file, so I didn't have to do it on camera. You'll see what that is in a second. So we have our client key, private and public. We have our personal one we're using, private and public. And we have the one we're going to use for work, private and public. Nice. All right, now let's look at that config file. This is where some of this stuff comes in handy. All right. And I'm hoping the font is big enough here. So I made up this config. You're going to follow the structure pretty much. So the only real one here is Buddy. I have him in my host file in Etsy host. And I normally go in as Rob. This tutorial user is going to go in as test guy though. So I should have caught that. And he's going to use that specific key here. These, you're going to put real servers here, right? Then you can just say SSH work, SSH client, and it's going to go to that server. It's going to use this deploy user. It's going to use this specific key, and if there's different ports, sometimes people move from port 22 to somewhere else. Yeah, that's the config. All right, so let's go over the things we did to generate a key. We did this ssh-keygen. If you want to specify the file name, put that there. Otherwise, you can take this whole -f out of there. Comment can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to copy your key over to a server, you're just going to use ssh-copy-id. Your config file, if you want to create one of those, just follow this format. And the correct permissions. If you're going in there and creating the .ssh directory, or manually pasting in the keys at all, or authorized keys, or the config, you want them all to be the permissions that are showing right here. And there are some other types of keys. So we went over the ed 255.19 keys today. RSA keys have been around forever. You want to set those at 4096. And then there's also ECDSAs, which I don't use very much at all. People do. But anyway, the ed 255.19 is going to be supported pretty much everywhere you're going to SSH into right now. Maybe some older servers are only going to have the RSAs, so you may have to create an RSA key for that. So SSH keys are those things that take 10 minutes to set up, and they'll save you hours over time. Plus, they're way more secure than passwords, and you're not going to have to remember passwords anymore. Just use keys. Start with one, and then start messing around. You know, have a couple different keys for a couple different things. Save your keys somewhere safe, maybe on a thumb drive you have in a safe or something if you want. You know, or just power up your SSH directory and put it somewhere. I don't know where. on a spare hard drive somewhere. Anyway, this is a fun video to do. SSH keys are great. I'm going to move myself out of the way so you can read the rest of that while I'm talking. Don't forget to subscribe and leave some comments below. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.